HOA Karen kept plugging Tesla into my solar grid, so I set the voltage to maximum and watched her regret it. I'm an electrical engineer who spent $30,000 in 2 years of weekends building my dream off-grid solar system. Every wire, every battery bank, every circuit designed by me. It wasn't just about saving money, it was about complete energy independence. Then Karen discovered my outdoor charging port. Karen was our HOA treasurer, a title she gave herself after volunteering when nobody else wanted the job. She immediately started calling herself Executive Officer of Community Standards and began terrorizing the neighborhood with fines for everything from mailboxes being the wrong shade of beige to kids leaving bikes on porches. When I installed my solar panels, she tried to fine me for visual disharmony. I showed her my city permits and told her my off-grid system was none of her business. She didn't like that answer. The first theft happened at 2 a.m. My surge alarm screamed like a banshee, jolting me awake. I stumbled outside to find her pristine white Tesla Model X plugged into my private charging port, glowing under the moonlight. Karen stood there, arms crossed like she owned the galaxy. Your charger wasn't being used overnight, she said with zero shame. I figured I'd save a few bucks. I was speechless. This woman was treating my custom-engineered system like a shared garden hose. You can't just plug into someone's private energy system, I said, trying to stay calm. She looked confused and smug. You put it outside your house. Since we're all part of the same community, technically the energy belongs to everyone. I reminded her the HOA had nothing to do with my power grid. She rolled her eyes and said, you should be grateful I'm charging clean. I'm not burning gas. That's when I knew this was war. I didn't shout or throw a fit. I walked inside and checked my logs. Her Tesla had drained 73% in 4 hours, nearly a full charge worth dozens of dollars. I pulled security footage and found she'd been doing this for weeks, sneaking over at night like some energy vampire. The next morning, I knocked on her door with printed data showing exactly what she'd stolen. I offered to let it go if she stopped and paid partial reimbursement. She smirked. Oh, please. You really think I'm paying you for sunlight? Then slammed the door in my face. A week later, she filed an official HOA complaint against me for hoarding renewable energy in an exclusionary manner and claimed her board member rights gave her access to external utility infrastructure. That violation notice in my mailbox was the last straw. I spent 3 evenings designing the perfect trap, a decoy port that looked identical to my real charger, but rigged with a safe voltage surge system. The moment she plugged in, it would trip a relay that dumped chaotic but non-lethal voltage through the line, enough to fry her charger and scare her senseless, but completely within technical safety limits. I installed a bright yellow private grid do not use sign, knowing she'd ignore it. Karen never saw a boundary she didn't want to cross. Saturday night at 11:40 p.m., my console lit up. I leaned back, smiled, and brought up the camera feed. There she was in pajama pants and a hoodie, humming while plugging into my decoy port like she was watering her garden. 10 seconds later, crack. The Tesla jolted and shot a blinding arc of sparks from the charger socket. Karen screamed and stumbled backward, falling onto her lawn like a cartoon villain. The car went completely dark. My cameras captured every glorious second. The next morning brought retaliation. Angry pounding on my door revealed Karen flanked by 2 confused HOA board members. Her Tesla sat in the driveway behind her like a wounded animal, the blackened charger dangling limply. You tampered with my car, she snapped. Leonard, the guy who always wore sandals with socks, stepped forward nervously. We just want to talk about what happened. I disappeared inside and returned with a thick folder containing weeks of security footage, power theft documentation, and electrical logs showing exactly how much she'd stolen. Turns out theft is theft, I said, even if you're the HOA queen. The look on her face when she realized I had evidence of everything was absolutely priceless. Karen's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air, while Leonard awkwardly shuffled his feet.